was out cruising on a sunny day. I looked up and then I seen your pretty face. You was just minding your business.
So when I'm talking about those humble beginnings and when I'm talking about contentment, it forced me to take a really hard look at, where I started from, how to be humble, how to not only be humble, but to always set, different goals for me to reach. When I'm talking about contentment, I'm thinking really hard, how many times in life have I been content? And I've kind of really opened up on that. Sometimes I have been content, sometimes I haven't been content. But what I find is that your attitude and your positivity throughout whatever situation you're in, it makes a big difference because life is filled with ups and downs, with roller coasters. Like I explained on the cover, different roads. Sometimes it's an uphill climb. Sometimes it is smooth sailing for a while. But throughout all those different experiences, I think that life teaches us something. And when I'm looking at myself at that last chapter, will the real me please stand out? It's making me just look at my life from start to now. And it's far from over. I am kind of young to be doing a memoir, but I thought it was important to just look at the summation of where I've come from, where I am, and where I plan to go. And to just look really hard at myself and see, is the real me staring back? All these things that I've been taught and all these things that you've been said, hey, do this and don't do that. This is a rule. All the things that you have been taught, it kind of molds and makes you into a person. And then you look at yourself sometimes and just ask, is this the real me?
Yeah.
So it made me question myself. It made me just look at myself, take those hard looks. And I've seen that, it is the real me looking back.
Right.
Those things that have molded me and made me, some of the things that I've been taught and learned, I kind of dropped by the wayside. And then some things I've actually stuck to. So you'll see throughout the book, throughout the journey that I've been on that helped me who I am, to become who I am today.
So when you was talking, the first thing I thought about was the difference between like being content, meaning you just kind of be okay where you at, and that go-getter mentality, like I gotta do better. Like how does one balance being content while still being hungry and thirsty for more?
Well, I like to think that one sets goals because even though you look and see, I've accomplished all of this so far and I am in a place of contentment. Okay, I've done good. I've accomplished some goals. It's never really, for me at least, it's never just a place where I'm like, okay, I don't need to do any better. I'm constantly thinking, okay, what's the next thing? What's that next goal? What's that next accomplishment? And even in that, at the same time, I'm content too, even though I haven't reached that next goal yet, because I'm proud of the accomplishments that I've made so far. So sometimes it takes, just me just sitting in a park and looking up at the sky and looking at the clouds and seeing how magnificent creation is. And it makes me think and it makes me be appreciative and it makes me have such gratitude. And then it helps me to kind of push myself to extend up to those next levels, to never just stay in that one place where I've accomplished so much and I don't need to accomplish anything else. I'm just the type of person where, when I reach a goal, I always want to reach for something else.
So to that person who goes, I understand the whole letting myself come out and working it in the chat. You said, will the real me please stand out? For that person who's going, man, I resonate with that phrase, but I don't know how to sort of reveal the real me. What is the real me? How did you go about discovering the real Charity?
Being honest with myself. So I think the first step is to be honest with yourself, maybe even create a list of things that you like and things that you don't like. Being observant of the relationships that you're in and thinking to yourself, am I really myself around this person, or am I really trying to be what they want me to be or what they want me to see? So, just really being honest with yourself about what you like, what you don't like, what you like to do, what you don't like to do. That's even the type of people you want to be around. Are you really authentically yourself, or are you holding some things back when you're around certain people? And when you think about, certain things that you have been taught, they're kind of in the back of your mind since you were little. Hey, don't do this. You're not allowed to do this, or don't do that. It helped me a lot to think to myself now, is this thing that I want to do, is it going to harm me, or is it going to help me? Is it going to be harmless? So when you think about the things that make you happy, when you think about the things that, make you go, oh man, I shouldn't have done that. Those are the types of questions I tend to ask myself. Like, is this the real me showing, or is this me trying to be likable by other people? So I really try to be authentically myself no matter who I'm around. I think that helps a lot on, asking the real me to stand out.
Yeah. That's always been I'm not a weird place, but I always try to improve, and so to me it can be a balance. And I'm still kind of I don't know if I've struck the right balance with that, like between being the real me and kind of like what we were saying as far as growth. You want to get better, you want more, so it's like part of me is like, okay, this is just the real me, just what I do. But then the other part is like, nah, I want to be better than that. So it's like, it's almost like I'm constantly editing myself sometimes, trying to improve. But I do agree with you that every now and again, I think you should just stop and smell the roses. Take a day off. Just, relax. Go get you a meal or something and enjoy life. So, if you give me your top 2 books, have you read anything recently?
Yes, I have read something recently. My 2 recent books are The Silent Patient and The Vanishing Half.
So yeah, Dave Ramsey's one of my favorite guys too. He said Nora Roberts.
Nora Roberts, she has a plethora of books, fantasy type things, magical stories and stuff like that. Liam Watery, it's really just too many to just name a few. I mean, I love both fiction and nonfiction. I love a good read, so it doesn't really matter what genre is in. If it can keep me turning pages, then I will keep reading. So a good book is, and a good book is just it. There's not like a few.
Right. Okay, so this is a music podcast, so we're going to have to switch it up just a little bit. So tell me, who is your favorite old school artist?
That's another tough question as well. I'm an 80s baby. I was born in the 80s. Of course, I grew up on gospel music. I would say some of my top loves as far as music, I would have to go with the Tamia. I would have to say, I have to give it to Beyonce. I have to give it to Music Soul Child. I would have to go with Kirk Franklin. I would have to go with, some oldies. Casey and JoJo, Color Me Bad. I even like the Isley Brothers, and anything old school I can get down with quite easily. I really love jazz too, and that comes from a history of listening to it when I was young, as you'll find out in the book as well. But anybody from jazz, Kirk Whalum, Kenny G, just a plethora of people. It's not just one genre that I like. I like all kinds of genres.
Because a lot of people say that and they don't even really listen to more than one genre.
Oh, please. I can get down with almost any kind of music. All I have to do is be in the mood to hear a certain type, even classical, anything. If I'm trying to relax, classical music. If I'm just wanting to, feel upbeat, it could be rap or R&B. But, I love gospel too. A lot of different artists, Fred Hammond and Donnie McClurkin. It's just a plethora of people. Like I said, I can't even just name a few. I love music.
Alright, so who you gonna pick up? You got Earth, Wind & Fire, or you got Frankie Beverly and Maze?
Both really great groups. Earth, Wind & Fire or Frank. I would have to go with Earth, Wind & Fire. It's like you can't have one without the other, though. They both add so much.
They really do. That's why I pair them like this. So what about Jill Scott or Erykah Badu?
I'm gonna have to go with Jill Scott. I saw her live in concert one time when I was in New Orleans. But both, again, really good artists.
Beyonce or Rihanna?
Both really good artists. Once again, I'm gonna have to go with Beyonce. I've seen her in concert too, and I mean, I was definitely a fan of her performance. I think she's a really great performer.
What didn't you go see the Watch the Throne? Did you see that?
I
with
did.
Beyonce? Oh.
It was I forget what it was. It's a couple of years ago.
All right. So what about Tupac or Biggie?
Tupac all the way. Tupac all the way.
Jay-Z or Puff Daddy?
I'm gonna say Jay-Z.
All right, one more thing. Black Lives Matter or All Lives Matter?
All lives matter. Definitely all lives matter.
I like it.
All lives matter. Every time I see Black Lives Matter, I mean, they do. Black Lives Matter. But it just, to me, it just competes with everybody else. And I'm like, you know, there's so many other races out there that have had so many different struggles. And I think all lives matter. It shouldn't really be just a black thing because it's not just happening to black people. It's happening to people. So I think all races have struggles. All lives matter.
That's awesome. So one more time, can you give us your social media plugs and where everybody can find you?
You can find me on Pleasant Investments on YouTube. You can look me up on Twitter. You can look me up on Instagram or Facebook. I'm on all those social medias. And also my website address is www.pleasantinvestments.com. You can order the book on Amazon.com or you can order through my website, pleasantinvestments.com.
How much the book cost?
The book is $14.95 or you can get an ebook version for $9.95.
Not expensive at all. So go ahead and support my sister. I'm so proud of her. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. And we'll see you next time.
Do you love music? Do you love art and expression? Do you love thoughtful interviews? Well, subscribe now.